Hey guys, I'm Josh Brown.
And I'm Jordan Stevens.
And you're watching the Cars and Health Bars podcast. Let's get right into the episode. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Cars and Health Bars. Today we are joined by Ethan Moss, the man behind the merchandising and media at Brian Tooley Racing. How are you doing, Ethan?
Swimmingly. Well, that very, very cool sounding job was basically me doing 174 sets of push rods on SEMA Parts Agent today. So it sounds like a cool job, but in reality, it's just me going like this all day, trying to figure out how long this push rod is and what the wall thickness is of this one. So it sounds cool.
That sounds kind of boring after about 30 minutes.
Yeah. That's why I'm sitting here, because I don't know if my eyes will work from any other angle at the moment. So. Yeah, this works. Yeah.
You know, I guess we can break into one thing that you kind of told me from the get-go is you kind of considered yourself the industry guy. For like people who don't know you personally, can you kind of describe how you gained that title in the industry?
Well, I don't know if it's the industry guy, but like a industry guy. Yeah, there's not like a secret handshake so much, or I'm it or something like that, but just it's something that that a lot of people ask if they're into cars to a great degree, but you say you work a 9 to 5 or a day job, or you're in a bigger marketed area, you're doing automotive repair or sales or something else, or working a parts counter somewhere. But every time I talk to those guys, and in the past I would say, "Oh, I work for Holly," or "I'd work for BTR," and they're all just like, "How do you do that? How do I stop doing this, which sucks, and I want to go fast? I want to go do all that fun stuff with you guys." And I want to go to SEMA and PRI and wear a shirt that has a logo and do the secret handshake with all the other guys in the booth. Get employee discounts on speed parts and talk about speed parts and race cars all day long. And it's kind of like that. But that was something that gets asked to me a lot on how you kind of break into the industry, so to speak. And in the reality of it is, I think you just kind of have to start small and get to grunt level somewhere. And usually that is in a tech department. I think Holly is probably one of the biggest hirers of it. But I mean, anybody that does high performance stuff, they're going to have people on the phone to, pick up the phone and answer questions or make sales or something like that. But that's where I started off, and that's where pretty much everybody I know pretty much started, unless they were able to parlay their degree into what they do, like engineering or something along those lines, or how many of us go get an HR degree, and because we love race cars and we're going to go work in the HR department.
Yeah,
you don't see a whole lot of that, but breaking in through the basement is usually the best way. Plus, you're essentially boots on the ground. You get all the anecdotal information about the products that whatever company you're working for does. I thought I was a big brain when I started to work for like Holly Tech in like 2017, because I was like, oh, well, I've been doing cars my whole life, Mustang Club, and, building these stupid things, a lot of Fox bodies. You had a lot of nonsense BS cars that I flipped, and, rebuild a small block Chevy or two. I came to LS. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to go work for I can tune a carburetor-ish, and it's immediately humbling. The day one you get on the phones, because you will get phone calls from guys that know way more than you, and they're trying to get you to tell them what's wrong with their situation. That's fun.
That sounds like a hard time.
Yeah.
It's like whenever you like call, like we were talking earlier, like call your dad for help. Like, yeah, my car's making this sound. Like, son, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not there, but you have to be that guy on the phone. You got to figure that out.
Yeah, fixing a car with a phone to somebody who probably knows more about the car that they're looking at than you. Yeah, that's.
I can relate to that.
You get cussed out a lot by like old dudes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Try to get their power valve checked, and
they already hate EFI.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a crash course too. I mean, it's one of those where that back then it was kind of the wild, wild west. I think I onboarded with Holly back in the day, back when they were maybe a year before or two before that. I think they had 8 or 10 technicians on the phone.
Yeah.
And when I got there, they were ramping up and pouring up to about 50. So they
Golly.
were in the middle of like a huge expansion rush. And
I
up to that point,
remember I applied
yeah.
for that position in 2019. I got the call at the airport going through TSA. I was like, I gotta call you back, man. I can't talk right now. I really wanted it. I ended up not getting it, but it was pretty cool to talk to him. And I'd rebuilt a Holly 4160, and I was like, oh, I know a little something. Nah, I don't. Not really.
Oh yeah, like the day one. Um, Realistically, it was just like a day of carburetor training, a day of nitrous training, and then fuel injection was a week, and that was it. That was like the whole
Really?
program back then.
Sheesh.
And then we started to pour because everything else was like NOS and hooker headers, and that was pretty much all you had to deal with. And we had a little nitrous session, and then things started. Holly just started buying stuff, like crazy. We went from like 20 brands to like 50 brands. It's insane. And then we had overflow from MSD, so you had to tech MSD boxes and coils and ignition stuff sometimes, and it was wild. It was fuel pumps, fuel systems, regulators. It's everything in the Holly catalog, but it was only like 5 days of training because that worked when 8 people a day called in to ask how to jet a carburetor. And then they had just dropped the Holly Sniper. I think it was like 2 months before I got there, 3 months.
Excuse me.
And that was its own fun.
Oh, I bet. I've took one apart. There's more to it than you think looking at it.
Yeah, it was is a good product. I really like Holly Snipers. I tune them on the side all day long. I originally, when I left Holly and I was going to go into business for myself and just basically be the sniper whisperer more than anything, just because that was like 8 out of every 10 phone calls was about help. I just tried to set up a sniper. Now it doesn't run, or runs like crap. And what do I do?
Yeah.
And part of that was it was advertised as being like this super simple, unbolt your carburetor, bolt this thing on here, you're good to go. Yeah. And it's not. It's really not. There's a lot more. There's a few steps in the middle, and that's maybe true if you have like a bone stock sealed up motor with like pretty good vacuum characteristics at idle and all this other stuff. What do half the people we know have? We got
big
leaky
bump
long
stick
tubes. Yeah, it kicked the header gasket out on one side a long time ago, and I banged the collectors on the ground once or twice. And
sauce valves,
a little bitty exhaust leak, but surely one little bitty exhaust leak really doesn't change the AFR readings that much. I can't believe that. It changes everything. We had a long tube engine on the dyno, and we drilled one single 1/32 drill bit in one header collector. 1/4 point AFR difference total.
Oh wow,
leaner. Yeah, it's a 1/32 drill bit. That's tiny.
Now imagine an actual exhaust leak. How much is that?
Yeah, it's trying to educate people and just give them the confidence to actually buy the part. That was the biggest challenge of the job. Is you get them and then they're like, I want it, but I'm scared of it.
Yeah.
Drop the barrier.
Sounds kind of like a service rider position in a way, my infield experience.
Oh yeah, it's a lot like that. And I worked in the dealership fixed ops, and it is a lot like that. A lot like being the service rider. You got to get them in and get them to figure out what they want, and then you can sell them what they need. But usually it's people are usually pretty open. If they're calling you, they're usually looking for guidance and they're looking for information. And there's not very many stupid customers. There are a lot of ignorant customers, and that was the biggest, hardest thing to learn. Is that ignorance is not a bad word.
Yeah,
ignorance just means I don't know it yet. But people get offended if they feel that they're ignorant or they get called ignorant. So don't do that. But
yeah, I feel like a lot of car guys just like automatic. They just think they know, especially with their own build. They're like, I know what's going on. Like I I see that too much. They just think
Yeah.
they know, but they don't. They're not open to be educated.
Yeah, you got to kind of trick them a little bit by just kind of hitting them with something like naming a part that they don't know exists on their car, asking them if they've done some
They
step
don't
in
even
the
know what a fuel
instructions.
pump driver
Obviously,
module is.
it's usually something like that.
So
You got to trick.
how'd you go from kind of like the tech support side at Holly to like being over the marketing merchandising at BTR? Because it kind of seems like two completely different areas of expertise.
Well, I graduated in Western in 2003 with a degree in marketing, major in marketing, minor in advertising. And then I worked for a dealership group in Bowling Green, Martin Management Group. I was there for a really long time, and I did advertising for car dealerships. My baby was more the Harley Davidson side of things because they had a couple Harley Davidson dealerships, and I just really liked doing that stuff because it was all like a lot of lifestyle marketing for the bros, and
Yeah.
we get to set up events and parties, and it was like a big party. The dealership stuff was all more like, here's another direct mailer with the key promo, maybe you'll win something, and it was all just the throwaway stuff.
Yeah.
Harley
Yeah.
stuff was more fun. So I did that for a long time. Messed around, did some other stuff. I ran a chain of 3 vape shops with a couple guys in Bowling Green for a while, and then I went over to basically I got to make a change. I kind of want to get back to the roots. I want to do more automotive high performance stuff. My friend Chris Mooneyhan was in the tech department over at Holly, and he said, "Come on over here. The money's about the same as what you're doing now. Plus you get commission." It's like, sold, say less. So I went over there and started working, and they broke down the commission structure on how they work, and I was like, so you can, if I sell 6 times more than the target amount of parts that you gave me, I'll double my income this year, basically, right?
Holy crap.
I'm trying to make this much, I can make this much more commission if I sell this much stuff, right? And they're like, well, yeah, but you don't have to sell that much. You have to sell like this much. And I was like, okay. So the target was like 15,000 or something, and I just started trying to get more and more and more and get more sales out of the phone. And pretty soon I was like a year and a half in leading sales, and they're like, "You're good at selling stuff." And I was like, "Thanks." I just try to give people enough confidence to buy crap off me and sound like I know what I'm talking about. That's it. And they're like, "Well, why don't you want to be a team leader?" And I was like, "Well, you never offered it to me." So they said, "Well, let's start doing that." So they gave me a little team of 5 guys. There's like 3 or 4 team leaders, and did that for a while, and managed the Sniper Facebook group for a while. That was the Wild West. Go on there and answer tech questions on there. And then I kind of got involved with Holly on a little bit on the training side. So when we were doing onboarding and stuff like that, I was the guy that your new hires would talk to for Nitrous Day. I was the Nitrous trainer for onboarding for NOS. And I worked with Holly for a while. I went remote during 2020, and we all dealt with that. I was an essential worker, I guess.
Yeah, same.
And everyone was like 2020 it was a drain on the economy or this, that, or whatever. Not if you're into selling high performance parts, because what can you do social distancing still?
That's right. Stay in the garage.
Your garage. So, yeah, it was a banger year. And, I had a lot of fun over there, and you learned a whole lot. And when the kids decided to, go on their separate ways, now both my sons are in their 20s. That's when me and the wife, we flew out of Bowling Green, got a killer offer on the house. So we ran up to Louisville, where my parents are based, and they're getting older. So now it's, you're done raising kids. When you're my age, now you start taking care of your parents. So
yeah.
Now we're back to Louisville doing that. I took my job remote with me. Did Holly for a while, and then I just thought it was time for a change. One day I'd just been yelled at for the last time by some dude who got bad advice from like a new guy or something. I don't remember. It was just one of those days where I was just done humaning. I said some words to a gentleman. I hung up my phone, and I was done with it. I put in the letter of resignation. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just couldn't do it anymore. Just fixing cars with a phone is a hard thing to do. And when it got to the point where all I was doing was escalations. I was that guy that you got when you were on full tilt speed wobble and you were too mad at the guy who answered the phone at first to get any farther. Let me take your manager.
Yeah, you're the manager.
It's not the guy you want to be.
yeah, it's not exactly good for your psyche, you know. It was rough. I mean, I just got depressed doing it after
Oh yeah.
2020, and then just getting yelled at for a living and never getting up out of my desk chair at home. Like I've swelled up to like 330 pounds. I look like every other guy in Holly Tech. They're all the same: bald, beard, white, fat. You know, I guarantee you're always gonna get one of those guys if you call it tech line. It's like standard. We all look the same and everything. It's crazy. But I jumped off and figured, well, worst case scenario, you know, I just tuned snipers and fixed snipers through the grapevine. Once like 5 or 6 people figure out that you know how to work on these, and no shops really want to touch them that much, then you just get a lot of phone calls. So for a while, I was just tuning snipers on the weekends. Uh, and then, you know, I went to a Cars and Coffee at Brian Tooley Racing right after I came down. It was like last fall or the fall before in 22 or so. And I just really liked the facility and checked it out. And I went to PRI. I had left Holly, but I went and put on my Holly shirt and got my Holly credentials and went to PRI in Indy just to walk around and go to seminars and, you know, high five people I know. And, you know, while I was there, I chit chatted with the BTR guys a little bit. And when I saw something pop up, I put in an application, and oh, the rest is history. Originally, they brought me in to do marketing stuff because that's what my background was, and then I kind of transitioned that over. They had some changeover in the marketing department. They brought up a couple great guys from Texas that work at the LSX magazine, Brian Havens and Jeremy Nichols. Those 2 guys are awesome. And I just really, when I got into the seat I was in and they changed marketing around a little bit, I looked and saw, well, somebody needs to run in and do this, this, and this. And they were like, well, it sounds like we need a merchandising guy. Do you want to do it? So that's where they put me. So I do stuff like, you know, when you see these goofy shirts and stuff, that's me.
Oh, wow.
I make silly BTR shirts and merchandise because I still have the graphic design marketing stuff from the good old days. So
I'll say you guys have the best merch out of ever. I mean,
I gotta agree.
There's some TSV stuff that's all right, but like BTR, hands down. I've got me and my daughter have a Doing Donuts shirt, the Dunkin' Donuts, the the cool banners that just came out.
The
dude, the
T-Rex
cool
banner.
Love them.
Yeah,
our local tuning shop already has every single one of them, and I'm so jealous.
Right on. It's weird because it's the simple stuff that really sells. You know, whenever you come up with one of like these things or something, it's great, you know, and it gets a little bit of traffic right away, and then it kind of dies off. But just stuff like my black shirt with the BTR logo on it, or the green Armed Forces shirt that just has a little offset logo. Those are the 2 shirts I sell the most of. Honestly.
Wow.
Just like the really clean and simple stuff really tends to sell the best. You know, you keep coming up with this fun stuff in the back end, but man, I can't knock the big dogs off their crown. It's the simple stuff is what people want.
Yeah. We talked a lot to Brian in a previous interview about how much he blew up, man. It was just like, I don't know when you got on board, but it seemed like I wasn't hearing anything about BTR, and all of a sudden, like, it's just everybody's doing BTR cam swaps. Everybody's putting BTR stuff. Everybody's got, you know, everybody's wanting these heads that everybody's been talking about forever.
Yeah, I think initially Brian had his whole operation out of like, you know, this basement of his house for the longest time. Like 2015, they moved out of the basement and up through about 2018, and they were over at what's now the product development facility. Yeah. And then after that, they put the big new building up where they're at and expanded that. And I think now it's up to like 70,000 square feet of what we've got. And it's probably not a really good secret to keep anymore because everybody can see the signs and stuff. But we got another 80,000 square feet coming in behind us in the lot that we just bought. So that'll be extra warehousing room and production space. And now we get to buy more toys and fill it up with even more stuff. So that's getting really fun. But I would say it's probably around like 2018, 2019. That's really when we started going a lot really hard and heavy into the cam business. A lot of guys know, what was his name? See, now I'm having a brain fart. John Booley.
Yeah.
Who passed away, I think about 2 years ago, or maybe, no, it was last year, wasn't it, when he passed away?
I believe so.
I didn't hear about that. I don't know.
Yeah, he was a really big early adopter, really well known and respected Turbo LS guy, and he was good
Gotcha.
at specing custom cams and stuff too. His entrance in with us too had a whole lot of business going for it too. They did that for a while. I think that's when the cam development really took off because that's when we started designing cams. And I think back then they were like Comp and I think we used Cam Motion and some other ones.
Their
But now,
cores or
yeah, we get now we do all of our grinding in house for the
yeah.
longest time, and we're really proud of the fact that now we're on our own lobes too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we've been doing Spintron development and moving things over, and a lot of times you'll spec a custom cam, but it's still going to be a cam made up out of lobes from Comp's
Others,
catalog,
yeah.
Motion's catalog, and the ramp rate and the acceleration on the lobe and the speed at which it operates, and just little details and there's a ramp
Mm-hmm.
rate. Uh, you're stuck with whatever they've designed, and if you build a big cam that likes to say chatter or bounce a valve, then what are you going to do? You got to
Yeah.
buy much bigger valve springs than you need, and now that's harder on valves, harder on retainers, harder on everything. Your tulip and valves, you got to run big monster springs. You got to run spring pressures that maybe you're not comfortable with to
Mm-hmm.
eliminate that. But if you can, actually sculpt a much more stable lobe, and that's what we do is we've got a Spintron machine, and
Yeah.
it's the best worst kept secret is we use our Spintron differently. We actually have everything calibrated at the valve tip on ours, and everybody else pretty much runs their Spintron off the lifter. So
You
if
talking
you've
about
got somebody,
the end in the bore or the very tip on the rocker?
like actually on the resultant tip of the rocker, like they're measuring behavior at the actual where the rocker makes contact with the
Gotcha.
valve
Okay,
to
yeah.
see if they're actually, an actual valve and spring setup actually loaded in
Because
there, so you can see what kind of
yeah,
harmonics
I've
are
seen the video of the Spintron probably a couple times, man. I think it's such a cool piece of technology. I don't remember if it. I felt like it showed the bottom of the intake valve on that, but it might have just been me thinking of another section of that video. Ever since I
Yeah,
learned
and
that BTR did their own cam cores and stuff like that, I was like, that really impressed me.
yeah, we had a big breakthrough in camshaft lobe design about a year ago, and that's starting to really filter out through a lot of our stuff. Last week, kind of, it wasn't real loud, but the V3 of the truck cam series dropped for us, so that's really
Oh
big. That'll
wow.
be superseding all the V2 cams. The
Cool.
V3 truck cams it's all new clean sheet deal. It's not another. It's all new lobes. It's all new cores. It's overall all of them do everything better than the old versions of the cams that they replaced. And really, it's not a thing that you really want to scream about, but they're all quieter. And
Yeah.
if you're like camming your first or second LS, you're be like, oh well, valve train noise or what, lifter noise. That's not a big deal. But if you run a shop and you're selling truck cams, and that like 15% of your customers, if they use cam A, are going to give you a phone call and been like, something's wrong with my truck, like the lifter's
Yeah.
making noise, it's hammering the valves or something, I don't know, and maybe I need to bring it back. And there's just some of those camshafts that just produce more valve train noise,
Yeah.
and a more stable lobe that makes more power and is also just quieter, not necessarily a durability concern, but just quieter. That will sell more cams. It may not sell more cams to Joe Blow, who's just looking at dyno sheets and picking one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the guys I'm really interested in helping out, the guys that have shops that are trying to get like 10 of these done inside of a month and don't want to see any of them come back once they leave and
Yeah.
keep the money in their pocket. Those are the guys I'm really going after with these cams.
You mentioned like you guys getting your own camcorders. That's another thing that I really respected about the heads that Brian was working on, because I believe y'all were like, from what Brian said, y'all were like right at the finish line, but something happened with the
The
casting or the
foundry, right?
cores, and yeah, the foundry,
Yeah.
and the price went way up. And Brian's like, I'm not releasing some high dollar head, and I'm like, I respect that so much, man. That's such a great thing. Like, you gotta appeal. I hate to talk about us LS guys, but we are pretty notorious for looking for, a lower price part. Joe Schmo with, a Cam 6.0, he's not going and buying a set of Frankenstein heads. He's looking for some, stock heads or maybe like some cheaper aftermarket heads.
243s, maybe LS3s.
Ported 799s or 243s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Doing all that stuff. That's what I really like about it. And the LS market is just the small block Chevy market that just grew up a little bit and figured out O-rings rule. That's all,
Yeah.
I love that. That's like the best way of putting that.
Yeah. It's like, a dry intake manifold?
Inlay gaskets?
Small block Chevy guys lose their mind. But that's really all it is to me. And you can see the market pretty much develops the same way, like LS's, it's everything. There's people that are going to sell you, something worse than stock all the way up to,
with that.
The billet to CNC to everything's.
Yeah.
It's everything in the middle. I think BTR exists to kind of hit the meat of the curve. Like the whole spirit of it is that nobody is, we're not trying to sell a bunch of super CNC billet manifolds and no cylinder heads and blocks whittled out of a chunk of T6 aluminum or nothing like that. We're just trying to put together like some really nice reasonably inexpensive race car parts, like cast intake manifolds,
the shaft mount rockers.
Right, you're right. Shaft mount rockers. We do little things like we redesigned the LS1 rocker. It's just like $3 or something. And just the BTR LS1 rocker, it's marginally heavier than the stock LS1 rocker, but say where the LS3 actually has a hole and then it has like a tip pocket for tip oiling. Mm-hmm. LS1 rockers don't have that. We went ahead and just put that back into the LS1 rocker, so you actually have good tip oiling. And a lot of people don't realize how good that rocker design really is. It's superior to me than having a roller tip rocker, and all things being equal. If you look at how the rocker sweeps the tip of the valve, mm-hmm. as opposed to something like a roller tip, there's there's so little sweep on the top of the valve. You'd have a hard time hurting it if the geometry's good. Buy push rods maybe a couple times and get it perfect, and then there's no point.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not like this thing, small block Ford, where you have no choices.
Yeah. I haven't done much with the small block Fords, but I got some coworkers who are real big Fox body guys back late 90s, early 2000s, and they love to talk about the small block Ford 302s. And man, they are really into the 302s. This one guy's like the Fox body king if I've ever met one. He's got a 93 Cobra he just bought. He's about to sell. It's that, I can't remember what color. It's a really cool color. It's that greenish teal color. It's like the coolest looking.
So green.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is clean, man. I can't believe what he paid for it. I'm jealous.
Our first sponsor today, of course, you know them, you love them. Chemical Guys. They have the best car care products in the game. Of course, my favorite products here, you got the starter kits. I highly recommend the starter kits to any of our listeners because it is the greatest way to get a bulk amount of products. It's just the best bang for your buck. Even the mini arsenal, it comes with everything you need. It's got the honeydew soap, it's got the spray wax, it's got the bucket, the foam cannon, it's got everything you need. Cars 10 site wide for 10% off your order. And our next sponsor today is Badass Extension Cords. They've got some of the highest quality extension cords in the game here. Got their outdoor extension cords pulled up. What I really like about them is they have all these customizable colors that you can do, and you can even have unique writing on them to make them say whatever you want to. They've got the 50-foot pro cable with 6 outlets going along the whole entire cord. These cords are some of the highest quality that you have around. You need some of these in your shop. Even the indoor ones, they go all the way up to 100 foot. They go all the way down to 25 foot. Why not pick up a Badass extension cord for your shop so you can make sure that you do not lack anything whenever it comes to working on your project? You need that for those power tools. You know you do. That being said, guys, head on over to Badass Extension Cords, pick you up a cord, and use our affiliate link so they know we sent you. Hey, Mustang guys, where you at? I got CJ Pony Parts here for you today, sponsoring the podcast. For all of your Mustang needs, whether you are restoring a 1960s Mustang all the way up to the S650, they've got parts for you. Everything from body parts all the way to your exterior and engine parts. They've got it all. I want you to guys hop on over, look at CJ Pony Parts, see if you can find something for your Mustang today, give you something to do this winter, this summer, finish up the build, and make sure you use our affiliate link so that they know we sent you from the podcast. I want to thank Speedway Motors for sponsoring the podcast. One of my favorite parts, wiring harness. They have a DIY wiring harness, so if you are not that good at wiring, they have a full kit that is a universal. You just pick what circuit you want. It is as simple as you get it. They have a lot of parts for your older cars. It's hard to beat these deals. Some of the best prices, that's always what I've known them for, is the really good prices, the really good quality. So yeah, guys, hop on over there, see if they've got something for your build, and use our affiliate link so they know that we sent you. And with that being said, guys, let's get right back into the topic.
I just got into Fords. I was a Mopar guy. Like, I was hardcore. Man, back in the days, in the 90s, I had a subscription to Mopar Action Magazine, Mopar Muscle Magazine.
Back when Mopars were cheap.
Yeah, they were kind of cheap for a minute. I had a 62 Imperial, I had a 65 Fury, I had a Valiant with a slant six, and then when I took off for college, I was in a 67 Dart with like a little solid lifter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it did great, except solid lifters and 391 gears and no overdrive going back and forth from Bowling Green to Louisville. Eventually,
screaming.
It
got old.
Yeah, it was like 3,200 RPM, like all the way.
Yeah, that's my dad's. My dad had a 62 C10 3-speed with 456s in the rear. You weren't going nowhere in it.
Yeah, not really. Like, that little motor was spun up and strung out all the time, and of course, with me driving it, that made it 10 times worse.
Yeah,
yeah. I got into like it, blew it up, and I needed something to drive. And my brother-in-law at the time was selling an '86 Mustang GT, and I was like, "Well, it's got a V8 and it's got a stick, and I hate Mustangs, but I got to go back to school in 2 days. I need a car." My dad's like, "I'll give you a couple grand if you just shut up and get this car and you're done with it." So, let's go do that. So, and then, once you own a Fox body, it's kind of over with. You're just a Fox body guy. It's just one of those.
Yeah.
It's like an F body. You can't just own an F body. I haven't owned an F body yet for that reason, because I'm scared. I'm scared I'll like it. I have too many of these things already.
Yeah, I feel like that was me with my 5th-gen Camaro. I'm like, man, just turned into the 5th-gen guy. I'm like, I ain't on no other kind of car. I'd probably like a Mustang or a Challenger.
The problem is that you get good at working on it, and also you end up with like X amount of the parts and tools it takes to actually make one be fun, and then you just get stuck. You sell your car, and then you're like, well, I can get another one. I got another set of wheels here. I got those headers.
Yeah. I can really relate.
I think between me and Jordan, we could probably put together another 5th-gen Camaro.
We probably could.
I have so much like stupid Fox body stuff laying around. It's like I have all the Ford trophies here. I've got the BBK long tubes that you'll never want to put back in once you take them out.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I got a 4.6 2-valve intake plastic crossover. Guess why that's not on the car?
Oh, I can only imagine. Every modular Ford.
Yeah, I shot myself in the foot and bought one the other day, so I was like, I need a beater to get the miles off my F-150. I got to drive it to Bardstown every day. It's like 2 hours in my truck every day. So,
oh wow, so yeah, that is right. The trip from Bardstown to Louisville, that's that's brutal.
Yeah, I'm up in J-Town, so we're kind of up on the eastern side in like the Gaslight district of J-Town. So, it's like a solid 45 minutes down and 45 minutes back every day.
So, what kind of modular did you buy? A 2-valve, 3-valve?
Yeah, I bought a. I'll shoot you some pictures of it. It's a 2001 GT that my buddy was getting out of, and it hit a deer, and the front bumper cover was off of, and the headlights were out of it, and the header panel was out of it, and it had a rebuilt title and 150,000 miles on it. But
it's got low mileage.
2001 GT. It was convertible. It was a 5-speed. So I was like, well, it's a stick and it's convertible, and the convertible top goes up and down. And the biggest thing, the convertible top is actually in good shape.
Oh
wow.
That's the number one reason why you look at a convertible and then go,
no,
I don't think I like convertibles all that much, because putting the top sucks.
I'll tell you what, when I think of this was a modular car, it was three. I can't remember what the V6, but it's a SN95, and this man, he drove from Louisville to somewhere every day, and I had to work on his car, and it had 840,000 miles, 5-speed V6 SN95, piece of shit, everything, but it still kept going.
Like one of these. Yeah, this one crapped the transmission out when Jackson had it, so we put a TKX in it. And
Oh, nice.
while we're in there, it turned into one thing after another. So
having contacts in the industry don't help out whenever you're building your own stuff.
Oh, tell me about it. This was supposed to be like a cheap thrills deal. So, like, literally, we threw a TKX in it, and he drove it around for a little bit, and then it started having just random electrical gremlin issues, cutting off, shutting down, not wanting to restart. You let it sit for like a week, and it's all right. And it's like, well, then now we go down the rabbit hole of try to find 10-year-old posts on Corral.net, try to tech this thing and throw a bunch of money at it, or let's just go standalone. So
Yeah.
it came in for a standalone swap, and while we were in it, found a good deal on this SN95 Pro Charger kit. So why don't we go ahead and put that in there while we're in there? While we're at it, and hey, while we're in there, these E7 heads don't flow worth a lick. Like that, you still got those GT40Ps and headers off your T-Bird that you're not using anymore, right? So now, now it's a tore down to the short block and build it from the ground up again. So here we are.
Yeah, that's my Camaro.
And a battery relocate and all the rest of the dumb stuff you got to do for Pro Charger.
I put a hole in my block, and then input shaft's twisted. Might as well get the trans built while we're in there, and just one thing after another.
While you're in there is the 3 worst words a car guy can use on himself.
Yeah.
While I'm in there, like no. While you're in there, put the bolts back in and then shut the hood.
That's like the equivalent of going to the casino drunk.
Yeah, going to the grocery store hungry.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Crazy. I feel like we almost ran into you. We probably ran into you before at PRI and just not known who you are, but we actually
probably
just
at
missed
BTR.
you. Yeah, probably at BTR too, but we just missed you because you were at I heard you were at the block party at Soki Speed for LS Fest. Or at least I think your son was there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he brought you or not.
Yeah,
we had just
I was
missed
up there
you
with Jackson. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, did you see a Saab 97 Aero do like a half-mile burnout?
I was done gone. I think I was leaving as y'all pulled in.
Yeah, I think Jackson had the Sabalac did a nice smoky burnout in front of the shop. But
awesome.
Yeah, I really like their setup. I hadn't been out to see them in their spot, so we went up there and checked that. It was a flip a coin kind of situation. Are we going to go north to the meet at Soki Speed, or are you going to go south to Mexico and watch some racing? So
yeah. Actually, Brian's car has been there a few times before it was that business. I think Jordan has worked on Brian's C5 a few times.
Touched a splitter on it. I don't think I really did nothing crazy. I had splitter on for something. I can't remember what it was.
Probably shop.
Yeah, he came up one other time.
The blue car, right? The blue Z06?
Yeah. Oh, Z01? That's what I was thinking of. 6th gen Z01.
Oh, no, he's got the blue Z. He had a Z.
He had a yellow.
He has an orange ZR1 now, and that's the car he had a while back, and he just got it back, the LT4 car or LT5 car.
Mm-hmm.
Just got that one back in the fleet.
I really like those.
And I think there's a blue C5 and there's a white C5. I want to say.
Really, I see the one I touched was yellow.
Yellow C5? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm trying to picture what all the Toolies have at this point.
He had a TRX too. He hauled it up there with.
Yeah. I was there that day. I was like, who is that?
Have you ever been in a TRX driving like 10/10ths on city streets?
No.
Ask Brian, you'll get one.
Man.
I love Brian to death. That man is the single most aggressive street driver
Oh my God.
I've ever met. When I'm riding in the car with him, and if anyone in the car, if you're in like the TRX or anything that's got a little bit of power or something, if anybody brings up to Brian while he's driving it, like, so is this thing kind of fast? Yeah. click, all right, let's brace yourself here. It's the TRX goes way too fast for something that size. It just doesn't make sense. It makes no sense.
I wonder what one of them weighs. I bet it's knocking on like 5,500.
Oh, I would bet it's probably even more than that.
I was guessing more like 6,000 pounds.
I couldn't even guess.
I would bet like 7,000.
Really?
And they're real heavy, maybe 6,500, but they've got to be like tanks.
Because it's just a 1,500 platform, right? So I wouldn't think it'd be that heavy.
Yeah.
And they don't have
Hold
a
on.
typical rear suspension of a 1,500 truck. They got the trailing
TRX
arms.
curve weight. All right, ding, ding, ding. Let's see who's got it.
Is that-
6350, 6760.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6,500 pounds.
Hey,
They are heavy.
Wow, that is heavy.
Yeah. That is
I thought
wild.
my boat was heavy.
Yeah. That is crazy. That's like 3
Can you
tons.
imagine stopping that thing at top speed? That thing probably eats some front brakes.
I've never been in something that weighs that much going that fast. That's all I can say. And there was like 5 of us.
I've been in
cab.
some diesel trucks that get down, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they compare to that.
Jeez.
I don't know. I've never really had like a fast truck, I don't think. Like I've got like a Coyote F-150 for a daily, and that's probably the fastest truck I've had. But I mean, like I got smoked by an SHO at a stoplight the other day. So
I'd be upset.
Yeah, but it's stock.
Yeah.
That's everybody's on me, and they're like, "Oh, you should put a blower on it and the 85 tune and all this stuff."
Yeah, Mexican GTR.
I've already had these thoughts. I've already had all these thoughts. I've already processed all these intrusive thoughts. The answer is no.
He said, I talked to the Whipple guys. I don't know what it costs.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an LS swap, like a blower on a Coyote. Everyone's like, "Oh, Coyote blower kit, that's like $8,000." Huh.
Yeah, you don't got to do a fuel system with that.
Sure. LS swaps are $800. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do want to loop back to one thing. Talking about PRI, that has to be. I don't know about you. I mean, you go to all these events, but that has to be mine and Jordan, hands down, like favorite event to go to.
Oh, yeah.
PRI is just like it's a time, man. There's just that's like the best time to meet with the manufacturers. It's just a cool vibe in general. There's just everybody's there. I think I even ran to like Doug Cook a couple years ago. I was like, dang, like that's kind of surreal because I've always been, well, before we got into the podcast, I was like a really, really big like Motion Raceworks and like Cletus McFarland Garrett fan. And just to run into somebody like that, I'm like, whoa, what am I doing here right now? But I want to say, man, your guys' booth has been like every year. I feel like you guys get more and more and more traffic. Like it's just like the BTR booth is always the booth that everybody is at. It's just like impossible to talk to anybody there because it's just like you're waiting in line just to talk to somebody that works at BTR.
It's wild. And last year we really shot ourselves in the foot because we got Nitro Dave gave us you got these little card booth setup thing with like a tree.
Yeah,
and release on the steering wheel, you know. So we were there doing like eliminations, and I think I can't remember who came over, like Poland and somebody else. I'm not sure, but they ran basically an entire bracket off of it, so it was just like covered up. Basically, the entire time we were there Saturday, and there was guys there. They're just getting in the seats, like hustling each other for $20 here and there, and that was really popular. I don't think we're bringing that back this year. But yeah, every year that BTR has gone to PRI, we've pretty much gone and upgraded the year after that and gotten a bigger spot, and a bigger spot, and a bigger spot. Now we're on an end cap, like we were last year. It'll be kind of a similar the feel of what we had last year, except instead of having a lot of roller carts and the reaction time game. We're going to just put a lot more engines and space out there. And I think Brian's going to bring his no prep car out. I think we'll probably have C6 out there. Or C7.
That'll be really cool.
Yes.
I don't think it helped any of that. What was it? Like whole entire billet Cummins was right there next to you guys too. So everybody was like over there.
Oh my goodness. Did you see that thing?
Insane.
Racing on it?
And then
can't even imagine.
They had like a top off car on bags that was designed the exact same way, like the red and gold etching all over the whole thing. But yeah, that Cummins was insane.
Yeah, who was it? Motion, I think, brought out like the sexy red Impala lowrider with the big and ugly on it. On
that was cool too.
Or was it Texas Speeds? I can't remember. But man, that fully engraved freaking Cummins truck, that was
I mean, even the frame, dude. I mean, insane the attention to detail.
I should have
So
been a
you've been,
dope boy.
I guess you're probably out of breath by the time PRI is over with. I'm sure you're doing like as much talking as anybody else is. I know Brian's dang near impossible to talk to at one of those events.
Oh yeah. Well, luckily we got the Fortress of Solitude in our booth this year, so we have like a little white building that's right in the back
Uh-huh.
that you can actually walk inside, and there's like a little table and chairs thing. So that's like we got a spot for Brian for him to actually, but he generally gets mobbed at all this stuff
Oh, I'm
wherever
sure.
I've
he goes.
noticed.
Whenever we set up and go on location like trackside or something, everyone's like, "Oh, hey, where's Brian? I wanted to ask him about a cam," and he don't care. He'll let anybody stop him and talk to him about anything.
For sure.
And you may, he doesn't do stuff like go, "Oh, well, I got guys to talk to you about that kind of stuff." He'll sit there and like listen to you talk about your build and go, "Yeah, you know what I would do," and da, 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 da. He just never met a stranger. But yeah, PRI gets pretty intense. Usually by the end of the day, Saturday, when you're ready for pack out, you're ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely beats up on the feet, but you don't think about that a whole lot because just it's so much meet and greet.
Yeah.
Like I'll run around and you'll just keep running into people it never fails. You walk like 25 feet and like, oh hey, how's it going? Finger guns you, yeah, and it's nonstop. My survival trick for PRI is seminars.
Okay.
Go to
I've went to
all
a
the
couple.
seminars you can. There are some seminars I went to last year. Like there was a tuning seminar, and like last year, everybody was freaking out on the same subject. There if you were in the tuning realm, everybody was really having a hard time wrapping their minds around what was going to happen when Global B platform came out. Was that going to be supported? Da, 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 da. HP Tuners put on like a whole hour on Global B, and there was only like 20 people there, and I'm like,
oh wow.
I'm like texting guys I know. I'm like, hey, you remember that stuff you were worried about, like made you cry at night? Yeah, you tune cars for a living. You need to be where I'm at and like take some freaking notes and ask some questions. Like there's so much good stuff in all those little seminars off the side.
For sure.
If you just want to give your feet a rest and your throat a rest because you're just been jawing all day and you just want to listen to some good stuff, like hit the seminars. That's my best advice.
Yeah, I went to one.
Leverage, and you get to sit down for an hour.
I went to a tuning one in 2021. I think the big question was the future of tuning. I can't remember exactly where they went with it, but it was just really interesting to sit and listen to.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm sure a lot of aftermarket companies have to sit down and have that conversation about. It's like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, where will the industry go?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the biggest fear is: are we going to have a large liberal reactionary anti-car guy administration pop up?
Yeah.
And I'm not that into even beating a political position up or down on who's right and who's wrong, but there are things that are just going to affect the industry, and that's
for sure
one of those things that can happen. It's still kind of a tight clamped EPA in the current administration.
Oh, for sure.
It didn't really change much. A lot of guys were probably thinking that there were just going to be all these rollbacks, and we could do whatever we want. We could roll smoke again or whatever the diesel guys want to do.
Yeah. And they're still getting fined, right? Like, who was it? They just got fined again. Or maybe it was the court was just now starting to get. I can't remember. I saw something. It was one of the Diesel brothers.
Yeah, you might be confused with the Heavy D Sparks situation.
Yeah, it might have been that.
Yeah, Dave Sparks.
Yeah, I think that was just kind of like the first shots fired. And I think that's just because the diesel guys are the most visible.
Yeah, you can literally see the pollution.
Loud, you can see the pollution coming out. Exactly. They got hammered to the wall first, and if they have a cadre of guys being belligerent with the diesel exhaust, like smoking riders out and bicycles out, and that goes viral, guess what? You just set everybody else in the industry back. Thanks.
Yeah.
There's a reason why a lot of like the headers especially are branded as off-road use only,
Right.
Yeah.
And that works to a degree too, but what you really have to look at and what we talk about is being ready to be receptive to these things. Like right now in California, you can't sell a cammed application in California pre-65. You've got to have an EPA carb certified camshaft to put in that thing. So the things like that, and emissions in general is just something that we're going to have to work alongside moving forward.
Yeah.
And it may mean that you don't get to make all the crazy power that you could, but
Yeah.
the sport survives. And to me, keeping the industry
That's worth it.
surviving is probably the biggest concern. If it comes down to it, and they want to clamp stuff down, we're just going to operate clamped. It's not going to put BTR out of business if regulations pop up to a degree where it just makes business a little bit tighter. It's not going to make business harder, but it will make it tighter. We're going to have to break out that exhaust gas analyzer machine and start paying attention to what all these camshafts put out. You're going to have camshafts that are DOD and VVT compliant for platforms that have it. You can't delete that and get away with emissions. You're not going to make as much power anyway. That's the other thing is VVT. That's the first thing guys want to get rid of on a Gen 4 LS. Mm-hmm. But it's worth so much power on an LT.
Mm-hmm.
The guys will lock out those cams and
everyone does
or something. Yeah, but I mean,
take a page from the Coyote.
Yeah, I'm thinking about swapping around and getting into another a Gen 4 LS deal, just so I can have an excuse to say, "Hey, somebody grind me a VVT cam for this thing I got." See how that goes. VVT LS cam. Nobody really plays with those.
No, not at all. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's the first thing whenever they do a cam swap is the DoD delete.
Pin that gear.
Go-to.
Yeah. I think the key is going to be, just trying to bring little innovations to the market. We've got stuff still in the middle of rolling out at BTR. Of course, you brought up the cylinder head thing. That's what everybody always wants to talk about. Basically, Foundry 1 kind of dropped the ball on us and dropped the beam on us more than anything. And then we searched around and found another one to do business with. And, now that we're getting castings out the door, now we're just running into things like the fundamental challenges of casting and things like that. Luckily, we've got Rick Smith on board, and Rick Smith made all the original, die cast patterns for all these heads back in the day, big block Ford trick flow heads and all that stuff. That all is Rick Smith's baby. So he's a tool maker and foundry casting guy, and everyone knows him for doing intake manifolds or cylinder head work and stuff. And he does a pretty good deal of that, but primarily he'll tell you he's a pattern maker. That's what he does. Is he works the foundry side. So working with another foundry to try to get this new head cast is challenging, but we're making really good progress. Hopefully we're going to have some cool stuff to bring with us this year. We got Paris Pugilis, who's probably one of the best port development guys in the game. Back in the trick flow, total engine airflow days.
Cool.
He's back. He's back at BTR, and he's leading port development on the CV heads. And man, when those things hit the market, it'll be great.
Oh yeah,
to get them on the shelf so I can sell them. I mean, I designed the box for that thing last year, and all the inserts for it and everything.
Oh
so
dang!
It's
From what it sounded like, you guys were at the finish line. It really blows that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was ready to go. I mean, this will be the third PRI we're talking about cylinder heads, and it just breaks our hearts to come to PRI to talk about these stinking cylinder heads when we still don't have them.
Yeah.
So. But we're at least gonna have something to look at, and geez, it's so close to being on the shelf. If we're not selling them by PRI, I'm gonna eat a shoe or a hat or something. It's been the struggle.
I've been wanting a set because I have an LS3 car. I've been like, man, I've just been waiting for these heads. And then my car blows up, so I'm like, well, I really want some heads with the new stroker motor. It's like I gotta get some more airflow in here.
Yeah, they're monster heads.
Well, they work with the shaft mount rockers. That's I'm assuming they're cast factory on the rockers.
Well, you can't run a common shaft on them because it's a candid valve, like a LT1.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is candid valve.
It's basically like the late model LT1 valve configuration, and then it's a candid valve angle. So there's not a common geometry, but it does use just stock off the shelf LS Trunnion stuff. So
gotcha.
You can just run that, and it works great.
Swap it over.
Yeah, it'll run a stock LS valve cover. It'll run a stock. I think the LS1, LS3 rocker stuff and Trunnion kits will all pretty much be a bolt-in, I want to say. And then the valves are service LT1 valves. So there's nothing really exotic going on with these things. They take your typical spring packages for LS applications and things. That's the funny thing about them. There's nothing exotic about it. but you've got a monstrous LT1 valve package that now fits inside of a bore of a 4.8 5.3 because it's canted now. It'll enter. So I know all the small inch guys that are kind of saddled with cathedral ports and valve sizes up to a certain degree. They're really looking forward to these things.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I really hope you guys have them by PRI. That would be really cool. Even if you just had them for display purposes, it would just be so awesome to take a look at those and like have the inside scoop from PRI there. But like I said, hope to God they have them before then, though.
Yeah, hopefully I have them on the shelf. Well, I think I'll have them on the shelf, and I think we'll have them out too. We'll be doing. If you roll out something like a cylinder head, you generally send some porters castings out to some select few individuals, so the guys that are big in the cylinder head game can kind of get a crack at it and figure out where the meat is on things, and do some work on them too. And then so that way, you can offer like a nice fastest cast product. But if we decide to offer our own port work, or it's really nice to be able to fling them out into the wild and see what kind of numbers people are getting on their own work, and then kind of comparing that to how good you're doing.
Yeah,
because that's the beauty of the hot rodding game, is that you can make a part and some schmuck will buy it and make it better and then sell that too.
Yeah,
it never fails. So I think that's just the nature of the game. Oh, you can do it. Well, I can do it a little bit better. I can add 10% flow to whatever.
I mean, isn't that kind of the story between Brian and Rick Smith there with the big block Ford stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. You probably know more about that than I do. I don't think they've gone into that story with me yet.
I think he mentioned one of the first PRIs he went to, he saw Rick there talking about some flow numbers on a big block Ford head, and he's like, "Oh, I actually got this much out of it," and Rick was like, "No, you didn't," and then he proved it or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, buddy, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast tonight, and it was like I said, it was great to have you on. I do want you to let our listeners know where they can follow your stuff, BTR stuff, and what they need to be looking out from BTR, obviously, other than the heads.
Alrighty. Well, I don't have any of my own stuff out. I'm pretty much just kind of working on BTR's behalf, but you should come out and see us at the PRI show. We're there every year. If you're local to Bardstown, we do cars and coffee events, like 3 or 4 a year. That's one of my babies. We run the cars and coffee events, and we're always open for new opportunities and new people. We're always looking for fresh talent and things like that. We'll post stuff up, and we're about to bring on another 80,000 square feet of space, and with that, we need people to fill it. So. We're not a huge company. I think we have about like 80 people right now.
Wow.
So we're going to be ratcheting things up. So if you're looking for something like a career in the high performance automotive industry, follow and keep an eye on our social media presence and things like that. We're going to be ratcheting up real soon. We got to fill that space up. We got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. There's a lot of stuff I can't talk about. There's a few things I can talk about. We're ratcheting up and doing some more like valve cover stuff.
Cool.
We'll be seeing some cool stuff coming out soon for that. I'm working on. I can't say a whole lot about it, but a whole new way to catch can.
Cool.
Okay.
That's my baby. We're gonna try to reinvent the catch can a little bit. And I know that's not merchandise, but I drew it on a napkin and they liked it. That's the way it works. Sometimes you get little weird ideas and like, hey, I was 6 beers deep and I drew this, and like, well, actually pay attention to me when I do that. So that's cool. But run into us at PRI. Come check out. We brand new cams, we just cylinder heads, anything you could think of. We're gonna be coming on hot and heavy, entering Ford market. So be on the lookout for a whole lot more 6873 Godzilla stuff. Be on the lookout for a big push into the Hemi market real soon.
Oh, cool.
We just dropped a bunch of 6.4 and 5.7 stuff. We've got 2 really awesome new 6.4 cams, a 224, 228 duration cam. And if more people buy them and run them compared to some of what is on the market, they'll realize these things rule. Again, all of our own in-house lobe design. The Hemi cams are awesome. Hemi Truck Norris is the coolest sounding Ram truck cam you can buy, I think. And anyway, I could just sit here and do a whole bunch of marketing.
You were good, buddy. I mean, everybody knows BTR makes the best cams in the game. I mean, and merchandise, of course. I can't say enough. The merchandise. I just about wore my my Doing Donuts shirt, but I'm like, I'm throwing the podcast shirt. Love to see it. Yeah.
Well,
Again, anytime you want to come back on, man, our door is wide open. It was a pleasure having you on.
Oh, right on. Well, if you need anybody to sit there and suck up all the air in the room and spit it back out at you, that's what I do.
All right, guys. Well, if you heard that, follow BTR and watch out for some of their new stuff that's upcoming. And with that being said, we will catch you guys in the next one. Brother, what are you still doing here? Check out some of these social medias below me. If you're not following, go change that today.